And now, darlings, it's about time for me to ring my chimes before we continue with the show.
Just a minute. I ring the chimes around here.
Who are you?
Milton Berle.
Well, Uncle Milton.
Well, Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima?
Excuse me, the pancake makeup fooled me. Actors, fix up actors. What is this bit, Tallulah, about you ringing the chimes? Don't you know I just signed a 30-year contract around here, and this is now known as the National Broadcasting Company? And Berle rings the chimes.
It is broadcasting, and I ring the chimes.
Okay, Broad, ring the chimes.
We'll be back in just a moment. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Your hostess, the glamorous, unpredictable Tallulah Bankhead.
Well, darlings, this has been a most hectic week.
Look at the size of this audience.
Quiet. As I was saying, this has been a most hectic week.
If you think this is a big audience, you should see my mother's living room on Tuesday nights.
A few weeks ago, somebody gave me a little puppy, and I've had the most hectic time with her.
Radio. I haven't been on radio since Hectic was a pup.
She's the cutest little dog, but I've had the most terrible time breaking her in.
What a house.
And she's the friskiest little thing.
All these people still listening to radio? What a spot for a television salesman.
I never saw such beautiful brown eyes and the most cunning ears and the most adorable mouth.
Oh, you finally noticed me.
And the longest tail.
I thought I had that tucked in.
Oh. What's the use of continuing with this? Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, one of our greatest comedians, Mr. Television himself, Bob Hope.
What a voice. You sound like Ezio Pinza. What's with this Hope routine? The name is Berle.
Well, you get all your stuff from Hope. I thought I'd go right to the source.
I suppose you don't use any Hope's jokes on this program?
Absolutely not. You won't find a Hope joke on this show.
That's what I hear. There's no hope for the show.
And I've heard that joke before.
You heard it before anybody.
Milton, you have to take everybody's jokes. Haven't you heard Shakespeare's wonderful line, "He who steals my purse steals trash"?
Well, it's your show. You ought to know. But I can quote a little Shakespeare myself, Tallulah, about the jokes that you steal.
Oh, isn't he sweet?
Sweet, file 364. Sweet. Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 1. That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Romeo and Juliet, Act 2. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till tomorrow. Till it be morrow. Do you want to hear more? Do you want to hear more?
I would rather die.
Die, file 396. Julius Caesar, Act 2. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. The Tempest, Act 1.
That'll be enough of that, Mr. Berle.
Base, King Henry VI, Act 5. Of all base passions, fear is the most accursed.
Milton, you really surprised me.
What?
I didn't know you were such a student of Shakespeare.
Are you kidding, Tallulah? I can quote every line of every play Shakespeare wrote. If you say I steal jokes from Bob Hope, I can show you where you steal jokes from Bob Shakespeare.
Bob Shakespeare? What radio show is he on?
Caesar and Imogene Coca. King Henry the Aldrich. And he doesn't work on this program, The Taming of the Big Shrew.
To say nothing of your program, Comedy of Errors.
Oh, that's a very good joke. That's funny, but but I already used it.
When?
Next Tuesday night.
Milton Berle, that stealing comedian.
That says Sterling. Will you read that right? Not stealing. Don't start ad-libbing, Tallulah, because I'm one of the best ad-lib comedians in the business. Don't go away. Really, I am. Let's face it, I am the best ad-lib comedian in the business.
Don't you mean ad-lift?
Nothing. Wait a minute, that lady in the orchestra, will you please come back and take it, you coward? Don't walk out now, please. What are you leaving for? Take you an hour to get out of here. Sit down and leave at the end of the show when everybody's asleep. Now, where were we? What was I stealing? What was I saying?
I don't know, darling. We were talking, but you weren't saying anything. And besides, Milton, on the big show, we try to keep to what is considered good stage deportment.
Yeah.
We don't suddenly start conversations with the audience. We don't have to. We feel there is already between the performer and the audience a certain rapport.
Rapport? Is he in the audience? I knew what his name was, Rappaport. He used to own the Polyseed Ranch in the Bronx. I remember that boy. He used to sell Indian nuts on Independence.
Milton.
Where is that man?
Milton, darling, I don't know whether
We're
it's
laughing at them. Go ahead.
I don't know whether it's your influence or not,
Yeah.
or whether it's just coincidental.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a lady in the 4th row flicking a chicken.
Isn't that awful? Mother, will you please stop, please? I keep telling her, Tallulah, but she won't say, Mother, stop. But you know I don't like you to do that. Besides, I like duck. Now, you know that. Now, please.
I seem to get the impression that I've been all through this before. Something I saw in a bad dream.
By the way, Tallulah, did you ever watch my television show?
That was the bad dream.
Oh, it's going to be like that, huh? Okay, if that's the way you want it, fasten your safety belt. I heard you talking with Merman, but this is different. Tallulah, you're looking pretty good. You take your ugly pill this morning? All right, let's start. You wear that dress. Don't care what anybody says. Glad you're wearing your hair that way. In fact, I'm glad you're wearing your hair. What's that, a snood? From the back, you look like you're troweling for a mackerel. From the front, you look like you caught one. You had enough? Didn't I see your face on a bottle of iodine? Let's come over to the house some night. We'll open a gas jet. You look like 5 miles of bad road. You look like a professional blind date.
Well, I
Like
reckon...
Maxie Rosenblum's uncle. Have you had enough? Have you
Yes,
had enough?
I've
Okay.
had enough. I recognize a dozen comedians in those few jokes. How can you remember all
Well,
those?
Tallulah, I have a photographic memory. My mind is like a lens that opens and shuts.
What a practical use for a hole in the head.
That's very funny. Very funny. One more appearance on this show, and I have a whole new act.
I must give you credit for one thing.
What's
You
that?
certainly wangled a wonderful contract out of NBC, a 30-year contract. Well, that means you can retire when you're about 70.
That's right, Tallulah. How about you, Tallulah? If you sign a contract like that, you could retire when you're...
Watch it, Buster.
How old, pardon me, not old. How young are you now, Tallulah?
31.
31. Well, the way you're figuring it, you can retire when you're 1 year old.
I swear I'll kill him. I swear I'll
Wait a
kill
minute.
you a million times. I swear I'll kill you. Oh, I feel so jealous.
Now, wait a minute, Tallulah. Wait a minute. Tallulah, stop. Now, who's stealing from who?
Now you know how it feels.
Oh, leave me alone, will you? Please, leave me alone.